Alright everybody, welcome back. So I'm sure basically all of y'all have heard of the term pay to win before, where you pay money for a better version of what you can get in the base game. Well, Gaijin seems to be a fan of doing the complete opposite, and somehow managing to make their premiums worse than what you can find in the tech tree, or just unappealing in general. The AMX A-1 is a perfect example of this. You're actually paying $70 for what is effectively a downgrade of an existing tech tree vehicle. And the weird part is, I honestly didn't have that bad of a time flying it. Like, this isn't one of those jets where I would just sit down and tell you, do not buy this thing. But I do want to say at the very beginning, before anybody asks, if you're looking to grind the Italian tree, which does have a pretty nice variety of jets, if you're looking to do it, personally, I would recommend you go ahead, buy the Ariete, grind all the way to rank 7 with it, then go ahead and talisman one of the rank 7 jets you like. Personally, I'd probably recommend the MiG-21 BIS, which, by the way, is the same battle rating as this thing, and use that to grind the rest of the tech tree. Now, if you don't want to deal with that, and you just want a vehicle which can grind all the way to the top of the tech tree, right now, this is your only option because the F-104S TAF got removed from sale. And like I said, it's not like a terrible plane. I enjoy this a lot more than I enjoy playing the F4J UK. Now, what exactly do you get with the AMX A1 though? Now, first of all, I'm going to start off with this ARB performance. I'll be covering the cast later. If you want to see the cast ability, if you're a tanker, I'm going to have it timestamped in the description, but I would still recommend sticking around because this stuff can be relevant for ground RB as well. As per usual, I do want to start off with the flight performance of the jet, and it is going to be almost identical to the AMX in the tech tree. So if you've already played that, you'll know what you're getting into, but if not, the only difference between this and the tech tree AMX is this has slightly more fuel. And when I say slightly, I mean it has 170 kilograms extra fuel, which is going to do basically nothing. You're not going to feel that difference. And this is a non-afterburning jet, which means you should be bringing close to minimum fuel anyways, because your games are not going to be lasting more than about 7-8-ish minutes at most, and you're looking at 10 or 11 minutes of fuel, which is your normal minimum load. Now, for an 11.0 jet, you are rather slow. You are a subsonic attacker. You're looking at a maximum speed of around Mach 0.94 on the deck, but you are a lot faster than the other subsonic attackers that you'll find around this battle rating. Stuff like the SE-25, stuff like the A-10, stuff like the A-6, which you will see relatively often, like there's an SE-39, for example, right there. You will be able to run all of them down. Now, the actual fighters will be able to fairly easily outrun you. Any of them, you're going to have to wait until they either turn to start dogfighting somebody or already in a furball so that you can cut them off, and you can just gonna have to come in and sweep them up. Kind of like the F5 plays, just a little bit slower. One interesting quirk of this jet is that it has very good high-speed turn. You'll be hitting 13, 14 Gs, and you do have to be careful because if you hold that for too long, you can snap your wings. Now, it's not nearly as bad as it used to be whenever it was first added, but it is just something to consider. The problem with that, of course, though, is that you bleed a lot of speed while you're doing that, and this jet, once it gets slow, I don't know what it is, but it really loves to lock up. It doesn't feel like it turns well at all once you get to lower speeds. I really recommend keeping your speeds on the upper end because of that, and you don't have an afterburner, so you can't accelerate back up to those speeds fairly easily. Now, flight performance-wise, you can already see where I'm going with this. This is not a good airframe for 11.0. I mean, it's not even a good airframe for 10.7, where you have the tech tree one, but it makes up for it for its kit, right? These are attackers. These are supposed to be self-defense missiles. They're not supposed to be the most effective fighters. That's okay. But what exactly puts this at 11.0 while the tech tree one is at 10.7? Well, the only thing I can really think of is the missiles, because it gets these Piranha missiles. These are very unique, high G missiles. They pull supposedly 45 Gs. These are the highest stat card G pull missiles that you will find in the entire game. But the thing is, stat card G pull is exactly that, stat card. That doesn't mean the missile actually hits that, and in practice, the missile is hitting nowhere near to 45 Gs. In fact, I have actually found the Magic 2 pulls tighter, despite being a 35G missile. I went ahead and ran them in a user mission side by side, and of course this is not the most ideal test, but you can probably see which one is pulling harder. And here's a picture from above too, and what do you get in exchange for that pull? Well, you get a missile which has slightly more range than the AIM-9J. Like I checked on StatShark, it has about 200 meters greater range at sea level against a target running away from you than the AIM-9J does. The AIM-9L already pulls more than hard enough, and it has much greater range than this thing does. Like, the only real advantage I can see this missile has is acceleration. I mean, even the flare resistance that they have is the same. Now, besides that, the other difference between the jets is what guns you get. So the normal AMX has the M61, which is one of, if not the best jet guns at top tier. This instead gets DEFAs. DEFAs are not the best guns. They're fine. They work. You know, they're better than something like a Gish 23, for example, but they have significantly slower velocity. The damage that they do is also not what they used to be. And what do you get in exchange for that? A single second more trigger time. I'm not joking. 1 second. I even went ahead and put them firing side by side so you can see it. Really, the 1 second of trigger time difference is not worth the massive decrease in muzzle velocity and the decrease in overall damage as well. So far, we have the same flight model with worse missiles and worse guns at a higher BR. There is a single thing that it does better for ARB, and that is bomb bases. I hate bombing bases. I do not recommend doing so. Even in this jet, I think you would probably have a better time just going out and doing fighter mode, because to be honest, I think this is fine at 11.0. Like I said, I had a decent time in it. I think the Tech Tree one should go up to 11.0 instead. But if you were going to bomb bases, this thing is actually pretty impressive. It can carry 8 napalm bombs, and 2 of them will kill a base. So you can kill 4 bomb bases in a single run. Do I really recommend doing so? No. But I mean, this is a strike aircraft, so I'm not nearly as mad about it as people who are, say, doing it in a MiG-21. And at least with this jet, if you do decide to go ahead and bomb bases in it, you still have your full capability to actually go ahead and attack planes afterwards, because you don't give up any of your air-to-air missiles to go fighter mode. The final thing is, as you can see in the background, this does actually have a lot of survivability. You do have a digital RW bar, and, which is really nice, you get 120 countermeasures single pop. You are basically never going to run out of countermeasures in this jet. I would bring mostly flares, because at 11.0, the majority of threats that you're going to be fighting in most of your games are going to be IR missiles. Of course, you will see some radar missiles, especially stuff throwing like, you know, R3Rs, for example. You can see some Sparrow slingers, but for the most part, you're going to want to run more IR. I've been doing around 90 flares, 30 chaff. So basically, if you want the Italian air tree and you just want to grind as quick as possible to the top, you don't want to have to worry about talismaning any tech tree vehicles. Basically, if you don't want to play the air yet, this is your best option, and it's not terrible. It works. I would, of course, still recommend waiting until the sale happens, because I don't really think any packs in this game are worth $70, $75, $80. But there are worse packs, and this is better than the F104S TAF is now after the F104 nerf. I will say that much. Now, of course, this plane isn't just for use in ARB, though if you are trying to grind the tree, this is the mode which you're going to want to play in. This is originally a ground attack platform, and I have a feeling a lot of y'all who are buying this jet are buying it to have cast to go with your Italian top tier lineup. So what exactly are you getting yourself into? Well, again, it is a downgrade over the Tech Tree one. There are 2 pretty major reasons for this, and the first and biggest one is the fact that it is at 11.3. Italy doesn't have an 11.3 lineup. Your option is only the automatic, and then the couple 11.0 and a bunch of 10.7 tanks as your lineup, or up tiering it to 11.7, which of course is what most people are going to do, what your best option is realistically. The problem is, at 11.7, you're going to be running into Pantsiers almost every single game, and you only have laser-guided bombs. You need standoff range with this, and you aren't able to drop these off of a waypoint like with a lot of the other jets. These are basically paveway 2s. They have a different name, but the seeker values, the size, everything else is all the same. And this secret loves to miss the laser lock. Like, I have had games where 3 of my bombs just completely overshoot because it slightly missed the laser, and it just doesn't track. The Tech Tree one takes care of this because it actually has the Paveway 3. It gets 2 of the large Paveway 3 bombs, along with another couple Paveway 2s, of course. This doesn't get that option. You only get these 6 lizards, and they do work. But you're basically relying on getting a team like the one that I have right here that just straight up doesn't spawn any effective AA. A single competent top tier AA player and you're basically locked out of the match. But assuming that you don't have anybody that spawns up and actually tries to kill you, you do get 6 laser guided bombs. That is potentially 6 kills. And ground RB pilots usually just don't pay attention, so most of the time you'll be able to get some air kills as well with those piranhas. The last thing I do want to mention is that there is one small advantage that it has. It has the Lightning 2 targeting pod. That is a little bit better than the CDLP that you find on the Texture AMX, but the zoom levels are similar. The only thing I really noticed was that the resolution seems slightly better on the Lightning 2, and the resolution is fine on the CDLP anyway, so it's another one of those kind of nothing burger things. If you really want better optics, then, you know, that's for you. In any case, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and if you decide that you want this plane, feel free to use my code for 3% off in the description down below, and get yourself a nice little decal as well. Hope y'all enjoyed the video, though, and I'll catch y'all next time, so, peace, y'all.